Lack of a core concept is one of the single biggest mistakes consultants, coaches, and other expert service providers make. In today's short episode, I'll explain why and what you can do to find your core concept for better offer positioning. Come join me. Welcome to the Leverage Business Podcast, where we believe business success is about working smarter, not harder, leveraging your time and expertise in ways that fit the digital age you and your clients live in today. I'm your host, Jay Allison, author of Leverage Consulting in the Digital Age and founder of the iSuccess Business Academy. And every episode, I'll be sharing insights into how you can apply the power of leverage to grow your consulting, coaching, or other expert services business and create true freedom and independent success with mindset, marketing, and money model breakthroughs. Because when you get leveraged, the sky's the limit. Let's go for it. Hello, great to be back. How are you doing? If you're in the UK today when this episode goes out, it's our Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Platinum! That's 70 years on the throne, serving our country and the Commonwealth. Amazing. And it might be a stretch to link this to the topic of today's episode, but it's all about having a core concept for your business and for great offer positioning. The core concept here is the Queen. She's steadfast despite all the craziness of certain other members of our royal family. She stands for commitment, dignity, and tradition. The core concept is something that you can really lean into and get excited about, and your audience can too. It's the single big idea that you wrap your product, program, or service around, that you create a demand narrative and a story towards. Then you can turn your expertise, passion, skills into a laser-focused niche to generate a floodgate opening kind of demand for it, to get more clients and charge higher fees. The big promise for our whole online business academy, my book, my articles, and this podcast is to help people work smarter, not harder, because this is what gives you true freedom to live your life on your own terms. We all want that, right? It's why many of us choose an entrepreneurial path. And because we love to share our expertise in service to others. Which brings me to something else about the show's format. I wanted to take a moment to say something about the new format. Although I do really miss having the show go out weekly, we moved to a fortnightly schedule so we can lean into topics in a deeper way, mostly. And for the same reason, we haven't done guest interviews for a while now, because you tell us that you like the mini-series where we do 2 or 3 episodes around a theme and give you practical worksheet resources. That all seems to be going down well with you. So yay, good move for all of us. It means I can bring you better, more thoughtful pieces, and hopefully you're finding them insightful and useful. Thanks for everyone who's dropped me some feedback so far. Last time I asked, I had a lot of really nice comments about it and also some really useful, constructive suggestions. And so if you haven't yet, then go to the podcast website to submit. You can do it via a form or you can send us an audio. The direct page is jallison.com/podcast/QA. And I'm always thrilled to get these little gems and to hear your comments about what's resonating, about light bulb moments that you've had. And I'd be very appreciative if you drop me a great rating and short review for the podcast so that we can continue to grow and reach more people. Alrighty, so let's get on with talking about the topic of the day, how to earn what you're worth. And that's the core concept for this and the next 2 episodes. Lack of a core concept, in my experience, is one of the single biggest mistakes consultants, coaches, and other service providers make. And today's episode is going to be a primer for diving into this in the next 2 episodes as well. And it also runs well with episode 63 I did on brand positioning too. So if you want to listen or read that piece or revisit it before the next one, that's probably going to be helpful. Or afterwards. You can read it as an article or listen, and you can do that with any of the links to the podcast pages, the show notes. Now today I'm going to be explaining why and what you can do to find your core concept for better offer positioning so you can attract more of the right clients and charge higher fees. The core concept here is to help people move from struggling freelancer to strategic entrepreneur so that they can earn what they're worth. And I know that that's an expression that you hear bandied around quite a bit, but most of us really are seriously undercharging the value that we provide to our customers. And even if you don't call yourself a freelancer, if you're jumping from one contract to another without a consistent process to bring in new contracts and earn a dependable income, then you are in a freelancer stage of business. And even if you don't see yourself as an entrepreneur, at least the strategic part should be the vehicle for your business growth. So let's look at, what do I mean by a core concept? Well, it's a phrase that I learned from Rich Schefren. I love his way of thinking about strategic marketing. And I've talked about this in my book as well. So it's just something that I find a really good way to focus what it is that you're leaning into in your business, because there's so many things often as experts that we can do. And if we try to promote ourselves as doing so many different things, it just confuses people, and it actually dilutes the effort of, the core business that you're trying to position yourself with as a brand. The most profitable ideas stem from a core concept that helps someone do something new, different, better, or faster. And I'll talk about building a performance boosting course more in the next episode. But for now, let me just say that most experts go about course creation all wrong. They pick a topic, and that's not what I mean by core concept. I mean, it can work if it's a strategic and, really aligned topic. But often it's not strategic, it's not compelling, and it's not transformative. It's just information. It's just a topic. A core concept should be 10 things. I know it's a lot, right? But they're quick. They're really short. So 1, present something new. 2, be unique and feel original. 3, be prospect focused, customer focused. 4, be a bold breakthrough and a little bit sticky, an idea that sticks. 5, have a built-in benefit. I'm really all for benefits and impact. And 6, be supported by proof. 7, be easy to explain. If you have to take, a page to explain what you do, or you can't explain it to, a family member who doesn't really know anything about your field, then you're probably not going to get a very clear message across to people. 8 is abdicate from previous failures, because sometimes things come around, right? So sometimes something didn't land doesn't mean it's never going to land. It might just be that you need to tweak it, or that its time hasn't come yet. 9 is be better, faster, cheaper, or more certain than your competitors. And 10 is to support your unique selling point. When people desire a very specific thing and can clearly see what your offer is just the thing they need, they want it, and they want it now, and they're willing to pay more than the going rate sometimes to get it. Your unique expert brand often emerges from that one core concept that your audience resonates most deeply with, and it can even send your business off in a whole new direction. It needs to be so specific that it provides a badge of honor and distinguishes you from others in your niche. And sometimes it's simply a matter of coining a phrase to wrap around an existing idea or approach to things, but it's something that you can step into, that you can own, and that you can talk about quite passionately. And one way to achieve this is to build a brand around this core concept, this core idea. And we've talked about this in previous episodes as well. And it's usually a key thing that you want to be known for doing. But it could also be an idea, like a big idea, like nobody else is doing this. It should be a simple idea, but complex to solve. So that's where the power of your expertise, and that's where the higher fees come in for what you're able to charge. It's transformative, and it's of premium value to your target clientele. And I know that as a consultant, it's hard to pin yourself down to a single distinctive expert area. You probably rarely do just one thing. You have a menu, a smorgasbord of possibilities. And all the talk about nailing your niche and narrowing down and sub-niching and micro-niching can all feel a little bit uncomfortable and constraining. And for me, having different niches and client types used to feel discordant in terms of the dreaded question, what do you do? Until I found the common thread and focused on a specific field of helping businesses grow through strategic planning. Nevertheless, I always got frustrated that I have all this expertise and knowledge and experience. How come I can't get more clients? And that's because I wasn't focusing on one core niche, one core concept, but rather working in lots of different roles, plucking at all the various strings on my bow. And when you position and brand yourself around a distinctive problem your target market has, they realize they need you to help them implement the solution. And we can build on our leverage marketing and leverage sales approaches to find ways of leveraging your expert system beyond your face-to-face consulting or coaching or done-for-you agency type work. Your perfect client is one for whom you can deliver their desired result in the shortest possible time. And having your own system in place for how you work with that client, whether it's one-to-one or in a group, means you can easily design a program, a workshop, or a whole course, either face-to-face or online, that mirrors your step-by-step process. And once you start to earn the maven status around your big idea, and you start using a particular channel to engage with your audience, where you become known for, this also means you don't get too distracted by other ideas and shiny new marketing tools. You can hone your expertise further. You can consistently show up for your audience. And you've got more time and freedom to focus on the research, the strategy, the content, and the client support. So creating increasingly greater influence and impact, as well as higher levels of income. Implementing an effective brand positioning plan is not massively different to your usual business consultant or coach or trainer. You've first got to clarify the expertise and distinctiveness that's uniquely yours. Next, you want to package the problem and your point of view into valuable educational content to satisfy the questions in the mind of your target audience and build trust. Make sure you give time to that study and research and to strategic and creative deliberation, because as a professional and an expert, you need space to recharge and think, and you can consistently then come up with these new insights and communicate your core concepts very effectively. So I'm going to change tack for a little bit right now, and I wanted to share something about what I think's marketing's dirty little secret. I feel that there's this dirty secret in the online marketing world that's all about focus. If you want to move off the freelancer circuit and go from frustration to freedom, then having a course offer wrapped around a core concept is the fastest way that I know. You need to drop the tactic of the month, start building a real business in a strategic and sustainable way. Don't go chasing after some newfangled thing thinking that that's going to be the solution that you've been missing. You want to position yourself as uniquely different to what others in your profession are doing, and that's even in the way that you market yourself. And you're going to find out the details in the next 2 episodes of how you can build a course offer around your core concept to leverage you, your marketing, sales, and your delivery. With millions of people affected in some way by the economic downturn, amplified by the COVID pandemic, a whole lot of stuff we're seeing in Europe over here, I've seen an upsurge in professionals looking to start an online business as their plan B, their way of providing for themselves and their family. In desperation, then they try a business opportunity and they decide it doesn't work. To be honest, that's how I got started back in 2004. When I went looking for a plan B, my daughter had been born with a severe brain disorder, and I knew that holding down a normal full-time job might actually become impossible. I joined a network marketing opportunity, one where our team was doing things rather differently. We weren't holding parties and annoying friends and families. Our core concept was to draw people in on the front end with some valuable educational content. And back then it was an opt-in landing page and a physical CD that we sent out, followed by an email nurture sequence. Nothing new, right? But back in 2004, it was very, very new. No one was doing it. And I turned that traditional direct selling in-person business into an internet business, creating a hybrid offer of both the products, which were wellness and weight loss products, and coaching to drive sales. And I learned a ton about content marketing and about client acquisition, and ended up selling my website for more money than I was earning selling the products, because the articles that were in there were so valuable to other people in that industry. And just before that happened, I got a call from a friend in that business who told me that with that old business, selling products here and there, I'd been riding the slowest horse in the industry, his exact words. And it made me sit up and think. Perhaps that's when the notion of leverage first surfaced for me. He told me about a new core concept, top-tier products. So I joined this top-tier network marketing opportunity, and then another, and then another. And I earned 50 times more than in that other business. Less clients, working 5 times less. I'd learned a ton about high-ticket sales. But something was off. It's such a familiar story, and so many keep doing this. They discover this treasure chest of silver bullets and magic success buttons. That's the world we know as internet marketing. And they get sucked into learning mode and then tech mode, and somewhere the needs of the customer gets lost in it all. To me, not only did it feel like such a slog, more importantly, I didn't feel that I was having the impact that I wanted. The promise is that it's a numbers game, and that makes sense. And so we start list building and link building and copywriting and, well, you know the drill. And there's many unscrupulous so-called internet marketing gurus, each selling their own tactic of the month. And it looks very attractive. So they think, this looks like it's going to make me some quick cash. This is going to be the thing that I've been missing. I'll try it. And what happens next? They realize it's much more difficult than they thought to execute these tactics well. So to add salt to the wound of whatever high-priced course they've just invested in, it's less effective than they hoped. And even worse is the fact that they've become a victim of the dirty little secret I mentioned. These people would love to have a real business that they can count on to provide for them today and far into the future. Because they don't have the experience with some kind of real business. They don't have the business acumen. And they try to become successful through the eyes of an opportunity seeker almost. And certainly they never set out to have an online marketing business. Here's how they messed up and didn't even realize what was happening. See, what those internet marketing gurus know is that it's much easier to sell their tactic of the month to opportunity seekers. And they make a killing taking advantage of this fact. Are you guilty of frantically looking for the one thing that will finally work for you online? I know I certainly am. A real silver bullet that fills your bank account with cash and lets you spend all day on the golf course or the beach. Well, don't worry, there is a much better way to get what you want out of life. And it's not learning and gathering more internet marketing tactics. You want to find a way to attract the best clients based on your reputation, value, and visibility. Here's how to make it with a real business, whether online or offline. It's with a core concept, not a tactic. It will make you bulletproof to those shiny objects and promises of push-button profits. In hindsight, it's easy to see that my reputation, value, and visibility are what attracted clients and kept me financially afloat, rather than any direct selling per se. It finally hit me that standing out as an expert authority on a specific subject and being seen as a thought leader with something clearly defined and of value to offer, that's one of the most critical aspects of a leverage consulting strategy. Focus on achieving 3 levels of influence. 1, what we say about ourselves. Strengthen your belief, be confident and yell louder. Get more visible. And 2, what others say about you. Gather social proof and stories that really resonate with people. 3, what we demonstrate about what we do, the most effective yet underutilized marketing tactic, because it triggers an internal decision towards trust. A core concept will rescue you from having to decide which of 100 different courses to run and which of 10 different customer avatars to pick. You won't have to frantically search for that one thing that will be your cash cow. Instead, you'll have new, fresh perspectives that will steer you towards building your brand positioning in a distinct way, gaining you maven status for your unique point of view. You prove yourself and build trust when you actually help someone make progress, such as with one or more of the following. A goal, something that your ideal client absolutely must achieve. An opportunity, what they'd like to do better or faster. Or a challenge, something that removes the block they're having from achieving a goal. When you help someone move something forward, do something better, the value you deliver takes you from anonymous freelancer that people treat as a commodity to trustworthy teacher and coach that your audience wants to hear from. Taking this approach to building a brand is what Rich Schefren terms mavenship. It requires a fundamental shift in mindset, one that embraces generosity to put your ideas out there, rather than secrecy to protect your intellectual property. It builds your brand equity. What if people loved your brand and liked you so much in the marketplace that they'd be willing to pay up to 300% more for your services and products than your competitors, just because they were yours? And wouldn't it be cool if they would jump through all kinds of hurdles and hoops? Not that that's necessary, but that they'd be willing to do just about anything to be able to get your stuff, to buy from you, that they had that much respect for what you're doing, what you stand for, and how you help people. Well, I believe you can actually create that kind of raving fan base with a core concept and associated product that has intrinsic value, practical value, and intrinsic value. So what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example about cars. My BMW, which I love, I've talked about it before, it's got a lot of practical value. It's very solid on the road. It's got a ton of features, and the benefits are it's a lovely ride. Well, Rolls-Royce has the same. In terms of practical value, it's still a car, but it's a car that costs 300% more than the BMW. And similar on the inside, apart from the engine, the differences are largely cosmetic, almost identical. In fact, Rolls-Royce are now even owned by BMW, even the same chassis. And it's all about intrinsic value and the perception of value. We covered this in a previous episode, an article on creating a visible value proposition in the marketplace. It's episode 38, if you want to look that back up. So how do we get people wanting your stuff, just like Rolls-Royce? And what better way to build your brand equity than with thought leadership and a course? Last episode, I talked about online learning design and starting from a place of the outcomes that you want. We won't go over that again, but what I want to share for part 2 is how you can make sure your course is really going to deliver a performance boost to your participants. And that's what we're going to focus on next episode. So how to go from the core concept idea to creating a vehicle for the transformation that you provide. And then in part 3, we'll turn to how you bring that course to market. So it's ciao for now. Thank you for listening to the Leverage Business Podcast. Want to create leverage in your business? Did this episode provide some insights and ideas to be thinking through? If so, subscribe so you get alerts when the next one's released. If you want to learn more or would like help and support with building a leveraged business that achieves true freedom for you, then head over to jallison.com/podcast to find all the resources and links that go with this show on my website and to join our iSuccess community. And if you're enjoying our content, it would be great if you could pop into Apple Podcasts or the app you listen from and leave me a rating and review. Everyone makes a difference to improving our rankings. So thank you if you've done that already. I appreciate you. So hey, that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope you've loved this episode and have some great takeaways to be thinking through. I wish you a pleasant, productive and profitable week, and I'll see you again next time for another episode of the Leverage Business Podcast.